Hi everyone, Tony from Act Movies here, and today we're talking about Pagemaster, which turns 30 this year.
Woohoo! Like me.
Yes, oh god, I'm getting older.
Oh my god!
I'm getting older. Yes, Pagemaster with Macaulay Culkin. Why don't people like this movie? Why isn't it as remembered as other stuff? Is it underrated? Let's find out today.
Tapes, we're talking about tapes.
Hi everyone, Future Tony here, and I have a little note to tell you before you proceed with this episode. Before we filmed, I recorded a commentary track for Patreon. Patreon.com/actmovies. The commentary tracks are actually at the $5 tier. And if you don't want to become a patron, I made them available for individual purchase. Or you can buy some of them as collections. But that's besides the point. The point I'm trying to make is that when I was done recording the commentary track, I moved the audio stuff back to the set, and I accidentally plugged microphone 2 into microphone 3's port. As you can see, it has since been fixed. Unfortunately, microphone 3 was next to Casey and facing the opposite way. So the audio is going to be a little rough on her end. I did my best to make it manageable. We did not have time to re-record, so I am apologizing up front for it. I still think you should watch the episode. It's a really fun episode. We had a lot to say about this film. And because I called it out and have made it known at the beginning, you don't have to leave a comment about the audio. I've addressed it. There's no reason to leave comments about how rough the audio is. Okay, on with the episode.
Hello, Casey.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Doing well.
You're excited to talk Pagemaster.
I am. I love this movie.
I really liked it back in the day.
Okay.
As you can see, I'm cosplaying as the main character. Do I look like him?
Yes. That really is a good jacket.
Casey messaged me. She's like, do you have a rain jacket to look like Macaulay Culkin? I'm like, maybe. And I'm like, oh my god, I do.
Credit to Tim from Tapes from the Crypt. It was his idea.
Oh, thank you, Tim.
You're just missing the bike.
I have a note about that bike later. Yes, Pagemaster. Last year I was going through like movies that have anniversaries because those are always fun to cover. And this one showed up. And I remember being like, I really liked that movie.
Yes.
But over the years, I realized it doesn't have that good of a reputation.
I can't believe that.
And I've seen other reviewers, I'm not going to name them, Nostalgia Critic, who don't like this movie. And I'm like, I remember it being fine. I think I even said these things when I hung out with Macaulay Culkin for a weekend. Yeah, so I thought, this would be a fun one to revisit, and it turns out you really like this one.
I do. I love the Pagemaster. And I can't tell you, like, how excited I was to dive back into it. Because I haven't watched it, since I was a kid, probably.
Well, you mentioned your age, so I'm going to bet that you didn't see this in theaters.
No.
I think I did.
Ooh.
I was trying to remember. Usually I have a pretty good memory of what I saw in theaters. And I'm pretty sure I saw this, or maybe I had seen other movies and they were always playing the trailer for this. So I've at least seen some of this in a theater, but I did have the tape. Your tape is in way better condition than mine.
And it's always a good sign if, I can't remember who, I have to see the writing. It's either my mom or my dad wrote my name on the tape. That's a good sign that it was like one that I really liked.
Yeah.
Because we were allowed to bring tapes to school.
Yeah.
So I think this was a keeper.
Was that the same one where you brought Young Frankenstein?
Yes, it was. And then my mom got a call.
For Young Frankenstein, it's not that bad.
I'm in the hay.
Yeah, it's not. Oh, rest in peace, Terry Garr.
I know.
I know. Next year, we should do a back-to-back Young Frankenstein, Dracula, Dead and Loving It.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, so Pagemaster. Again, I really liked this one when I was growing up.
I'm waiting for it. What are you holding back?
No,
You liked it when you were growing up.
Yeah, and I rewatched it today, and I have some notes. But so I went back and I looked the backstory behind this. So Joe Johnston directs it, the live action sequences.
Yes.
He went on. I mean, he was a special effects guy. He had done like a lot of stuff in the Star Wars movies. I'm pretty sure he designed Boba Fett, but he ended up doing like Jumanji and Jurassic Park 3 and a bunch of the first Captain America movie. So he had a big career. But apparently he was not thrilled with this movie. The producers kind of took it from him in editing. And they said he said he has since like taken this off his resume, I guess.
But he only did the live action.
He did, and it was co-directed by. Can you hand me that case there so I can remember the person's name? Co-directed by Maurice Hunt, who did a lot of animation. They worked on like the Black Cauldron and stuff. So like a lot of like the edgier kid animated films he worked on. And apparently it was, so David Kirshner like produced this and came up with the story, but he tried to get a sole writing credit on it, but this David Kasky guy challenged him.
Oh my gosh.
So there was like, before it came out, there was like a lawsuit where they were going at each other, and like the Writers, apparently it was like the biggest like case the Writers Guild ever had to investigate.
Wow.
So they eventually got 2 credits, but that's not usually a good sign when before the movie comes out, producers and writers are suing each other. But yeah, apparently they just made a lot of changes. Joe Johnson was mentioning that like it went over budget. So this is part of like it was called like Turner Animation. They broke off from Hanna-Barbera. They tried to get this thing to take off and ended up not taking off. And I think it got folded into just Fox or whatever, because Fox put this out. But it was very ambitious. The reason it went over budget, well, one, they made way too many changes late in the game, deleted a bunch of stuff. But this has live action, traditional 2D animation, and CGI.
Yeah.
And it was the last movie to use that like animation cells and the multiplane stuff before they switched to digital stuff. So yeah, so it's the last movie to do that, but like one of the first to do live action CGI and 2D all in one. So it was kind of a big deal, but it was an expensive big deal. And then it came out, and apparently it just, and it didn't do well.
Yeah, because even when I bring it up to some people, they don't know it.
Yeah, I think I remember telling Macaulay Culkin and be like, I don't think it's that bad. I don't know why people shit on it. But I think, in my defense, I had not watched it in a while.
I've never heard people like shit on it.
Well, no one really shits on it. If anything, it's more forgettable to people.
That's terrible.
Hey, look, there's a lot of movies I like that people don't.
Like, when we decided to do this one, I was like, okay, I know there's a song in this movie. That's what I remembered most.
Yeah. Yeah, that song just comes out of nowhere at one point.
Oh, it's wonderful.
By the way, short movie.
Yes.
That's usually a sign if a major studio is putting out a movie under 80 minutes. That usually means something went wrong. Yeah, it's 75 minutes. And I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, that's...
I feel like that's how long Monster Squad is.
Maybe, I guess. But I feel like most family movies are like the 80, 90 minute. Yeah, or 90 minute is the one.
All the Disney Channel original movies are around the 90-minute one.
Well, you have to. You got to count for commercial breaks. But yeah, let's go into this. I popped the tape in today because it's streaming nowhere. How is this not on?
Yes, it is.
Where?
I rented it on Amazon. Even though I do have the DVD.
Casey, the rule is if I own a physical version, I'm not renting it. I will put the tape on my 4K TV and it'll look like garbage. This one definitely, like, because the tape is so degraded and it's not meant to be played on a TV like this. So, like, the animated sequences are, like, real muddy. I'm not making that a problem with the movie. That's how I decided to watch the movie. I'm sure if I watched it on Blu-ray, it would look a lot better. But the tape starts off with a promo for a very famous Hack the Movies episode, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. It's a whole, I don't know if you remember this tape. It starts with like a 5-minute behind the scene video to get you hype about Power Rangers.
I don't, but what a goodie.
And the whole time I'm watching it, I'm just like, they're playing the Predator theme. It's literally the theme from Predator.
That's weird.
Go back and watch our Power Ranger review. Actually, watch all our Power Ranger reviews. I combined them into one video.
Now go Power Ranger.
Exactly. Me, Riley, and Mint talking the review that made Mint popular. And then there's a promo for the video games. And when Macaulay Culkin came out for the Cinemasker shoot, one of the things they did, they played with him, James, and Mike. They played the Pagemaster on Super Nintendo. So,
yeah, I saw some of that.
Yeah. Go back and watch that video. It's pretty fun. But yes, let's go into this film. First off, the Pagemaster theme by James Horner.
Even those songs, like they did not have to go as hard as they, like they didn't have to go that hard.
So we got great soundtrack off the bat. The titles are fun. I love the clouds turning into things that we'll see later on. We can see like the dragon, the mansion. I thought that was really, really neat. We meet Richard Tyler, played by Macaulay Culkin. He's afraid of everything.
Which I did not remember. So It was very different to watch this movie at the age of 30 rather than when around it came out.
Yeah.
I first, when they were showing around his room, I thought, oh, those are cute decorations, like caution. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, he actually means it.
Yeah, it's a fun contrast because we're so used to him as Kevin McAllister just being a real pain in the ass to everyone.
Which was this before?
Before. I think both of them were probably before. Home Alone 1, definitely. Go back and watch our What is the Worst Home Alone episode. Actually, at the time this is airing, I'm probably chopping that up and uploading them individually on the second channel. So he's terrified of everything. He has his own little handwritten notes. He has one that says no smoking. Like, I'm pretty sure you're not going to be smoking anytime soon. His dad is played by Ed Begley Jr.
Who's big character actor?
Yes, the one that's jumping out at me is he's Jim Carrey's boss in Batman Forever, the one that he throws out the window. But again, many, many things he was in.
This is probably the one I would know.
Yeah, and he's pissed off. He's like, God damn it, our son sucks. He's afraid of everything. But he's like, I tried to get him to play baseball, and he brought up statistics about tumors, and none of the kids wanted to play afterwards.
That's great.
And now I just want to know, like, I don't think we ever. Why is he so scared?
Yeah, there's no reason.
Yeah, you need to give a reason why they're so scared of
Mom
everything.
could have been like, well, remember what happened?
Yeah, something like that. And I'm realizing now, I think I might have subconsciously stole from this when I did my senior thesis, Getting on the Slide, which is about a character who is afraid to take risks and take chances because when he was a kid, he was scared to get on a slide and he tried to man up and get on it and then he fell off and broke every bone in his body. So see, in my script, I'm like, there's a reason why he's scared of things. But yeah, we never learned like why he developed this fear. Because this is a problem. Like, your kid needs to be in therapy if he's this, like, insane about everything. So he also built him a treehouse. A treehouse that he doesn't even want to go inside of. It would have been awesome to have a treehouse.
So cool.
Yeah. I didn't have a tree growing up, so that was a little hard to do. By the time we moved here, I couldn't really go building tree houses. Did you ever have a tree house?
Well, not a tree house, but we had a big play set.
Oh.
And I guess there was like a little house in the play set that was tall.
That's fun.
But not in a tree.
Yeah, the closest I got is my grandfather built a tree stand to hunt deer. I would just go out and I wasn't there for the hunting. But I would go up there and just like hang out. I'm like, oh, this is fun. So yeah, he tries to help his dad out and then he almost kills his dad.
I know.
And it's like a whole I told you so.
And like he doesn't even react to it. Like Macaulay Culkin just stands there.
Yeah. He's like, statistically, ladders cause the most accidents. He's like, see, look what I told you. He's like a little menace for some reason.
Oh, he's sweet.
So the dad says, like, hey, kid, go into town and buy a pound of nails.
I love this challenge.
Yes. He's like, you got to man up and do it. I assume the dad did not know about the weather situation because this is a very irresponsible thing for him to do. So yeah, he gets on his bike. I used to think this bike was awesome.
Yeah.
I know it's made to make him look nerdy, but I'm like, no, that's cool. It's got like the shield and it's got the siren on it.
I vividly remembered that bike.
I thought it looked so cool. I'm like, I want that bike. That's so nice. But yeah, he goes to a street that I think he's supposed to use, and the kids are making fun of him, and there's a lot of construction equipment. And he's like, no, that's too dangerous. I'll take the other route, which is being by myself on the side of a mountain going through a tunnel. I'm like, there was no other way? This is horrifying. And then, of course, lightning just starts striking everywhere, which, again, the dad...
Right.
Did you not check the weather?
And they probably don't even care. He's like, oh, this will add character. Yeah.
I feel like he could have just went back and be like, Dad, the road's closed. Yeah. Or something like that. So yeah, he, to his credit, this is, for a kid this scared, this is a horrible thing to happen. Just lightning striking around.
Traumatized.
But also, if he really was that scared, why wouldn't he just stay in the tunnel?
Mm-hmm. So he does want to try.
Subconsciously, he's trying It's like the characters in Wizard of Oz. They didn't need any of that stuff. They had it all along.
I want to rewatch that movie.
Really? Wizard of Oz?
I want to rewatch it. With all the Wicked coming out and stuff.
We're not covering Wicked on the wrap up.
Oh, why?
One, I don't want to.
I don't know if this rumor is true, but apparently it's a secret part 1 of a part 2.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
No.
So, no.
No.
Asking me to go to Wicked was a big ask in the first place, but if it's a part 2, no.
That's what my sister said about her fiance. Asking him to go see that.
I'm not doing it. We're not doing
Sorry
Wicked.
about it up. Sorry.
There's only one Wizard of Oz movie. David Lynch's Wild at Heart. Anyway, it's kind of Wizard of Oz.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, it's like a very disturbing, weird remake of Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Laura Palmer from Twin Peaks is the good witch in it. So yeah, he's freaking out. Lightning is trying to kill him. And he escapes into a giant library that's in like the middle of the woods.
Yeah, and it's right after he crashes his bike.
The front breaks off, and I'm like, damn it, that bike!
And this library looks so much like the New York library.
Yeah.
So
But
I don't know where they are. And it wouldn't be in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, a library this big, it looks like it's just in the woods. There's no advertisement for it. You just stumble on it.
Which is so cool.
But I remember thinking this is like the coolest looking library. I'm like, that is the way it's laid out and everything. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. We get to see Christopher Lloyd.
I know. Who's the coolest?
Yes.
He literally pops up in like every good movie.
Everything. Yeah, he shows up and he's a librarian and he's really into being a librarian.
Yet no one is there.
I know.
I can't believe no one's there. Because he's like so excited someone's finally come to the library.
Is it? Well, that's another confusing thing because it's like I would have liked to have gotten like a little detail like that. Like no one ever comes in here anymore. He doesn't have a line of dialogue like it's been a long time since coming. Now the way it's written now, it just comes off like he's a weirdo.
Did you get his name?
Yes, I did. Dewey. Like the Dewey Decimal System.
Genius! So, I recently moved into a new neighborhood in town, and they have their own library. So I was so excited
I've never been
to
into
get
a
my
library.
what? It's like the most famous library where we are. And I was so excited to get my library card because I used to go to the library all the time with my mom. Like that was our special thing. And I go in there looking for a book. I didn't realize how hard it is to find a book in the library.
That's why you got to use the Dewey Decimal System.
The Dewey Decimal System. What a scam that was.
But still. So it's a thing.
I wasn't a library kid.
What? I was just going to ask you, like, when you went to the library, what would you always get?
I maybe went to the library like a handful of times as a kid. And it was always something for like school.
Yeah.
That was it.
Can I share what I would get?
What would you get?
I would always go to the movie section.
Okay.
And I would get the Worst Witch TV series. It
Ah.
had not the movie, the TV series.
I'm aware of both.
Really?
HBO used to play the TV series a lot.
And like my mom even went there, was like, can I please just buy these for my granddaughter because she loves them? They said no. But it's now on Amazon.
Yeah, years ago, I donated a shit ton of DVDs to my local
library.
Amazing.
Yeah, I've only been to my local one like 3 times.
Nice.
They didn't have a good selection. I was like, out. But yeah, so he's very, very excited. He's like, oh, books are great. You can do this, you can do that.
You're in need of a fantasy.
He's reminding me of like a friendlier version of the creepy bookstore guy in Neverending Story.
Okay.
Who that guy does tell you why he's pissed off. He's like, you kids, with your video games. Watch our Neverending Story review.
They maybe drew inspiration.
Overrated. That movie's overrated. How do you feel about Neverending Story?
I love that series because there's 3.
Wait, I'm sorry. You love more than just the first. I would have excused the first one, but you're telling me the rock biter.
Space!
You're telling me the rock biter on a bike singing "Born to Be Wild." That's a win for you?
Yes! Stop it.
Casey.
I love all 3, and when I would watch them, I'd have good dreams. Moving on.
Jack Black is the villain. You're like, what a classic film villain. Jack Black and Never Ending
Gosh, yeah, he is. Good stuff.
The horse, you don't know the horse's name until 2 seconds before it dies. It's not a character. It does nothing.
That's why I can't bring myself to watch it.
Well, watch our review, because when you watch it as an adult, you're like, oh, I don't care about this horse. It just kind of walked around and did nothing. Okay, so the kid is just like, hey, dude, I don't want books. Like, I'm fine. I was just getting out of the rain. And then, like, Christopher Lloyd, like, feels all defeated. He's like, oh.
Was that before or after he guessed which ones he would want?
And I think it was after he guessed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he was recommending different genres.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want adventure or fantasy? Oh, no. You want horror.
Yeah. What if he was just, what if he's like, I can guess your book, and I would be like, The Art of the Deal. Pause for angry comments. Okay. Yeah, I just want to know, like, what if someone comes in for like a real, like, my friend Dick, he's an author. What if someone went in there and he's like, what book do you want? He goes, Men Are Better Than Women. Because we're like, oh, we put that in the asshole section.
Let me look in the Dewey Decimal System.
For assholes. Men Are Better Than Women. Great book. Great book.
I haven't read it.
So yeah, the kid's just like, can I just use a phone? And he's like, okay. And then he like sets this kid up. Because he's like, where's the phone? He's like, oh, it's west.
Yeah.
Just say it's over there.
Just tell me.
You go west there, and then you go into the rotunda, and you go northern, and you'll...
Well, he's making how, like,
I know.
amazing this library is.
This guy is very bored.
This guy is very bored.
Or that.
Or he is magic. I'm still not really sure what he is. But yeah, he's like, go there, and if you ever get lost, look to the exit, which becomes like a big thing. And real quick, I am taking this off.
No!
God, all right, well,
Why?
It's cutting into me. It's been cutting into my neck.
Gosh!
Okay, I think I'm fine now.
Video.
I just had to move it back. I suffer for my art, okay? So yeah, he sends him to the rotunda. I thought, well, first when he walks in, it's a matte shot of I guess the rotunda was like a miniature, like the ceiling of it. So it's like an awkward matte shot. But I thought that looked cool as hell with like all the different rows going everywhere, and then like the painting up there, and conveniently.
Where is this library?
It's not real. The painting is just conveniently has all the adventures he will go to. And he slips, hits his head. I feel like a lot of movies did that for kids where they're like, I hit my head and now I'm in dinosaur times or something.
Okay.
okay.
Yes, sorry to bring this up.
Okay.
So, in film school, one of the scripts that I wanted to write was half live action, half animation.
Yeah.
Half animation. And, like, my teacher was like, you can't do that, there needs to be a reason. They have to discover the animated, like, portion or something. And I was like, okay, this movie did it, and of course I referenced the Pagemaster.
No.
And it still wasn't enough.
That didn't work for her.
Him, no.
Him.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No. Even though he just slipped and that was it. You know, you
That's
don't
fine.
need that much of an explanation. I think this movie still worked.
What was the,
You know what's funny? Early 2000s, like there were a lot of like schlock films coming out, and they would get around exposition by doing an animated segment. I think because Kill Bill had the anime sequence, and everyone's like, we'll do that too, but with worse animation. It's like, no, Kill Bill like did it creatively. You guys are just cutting down. I'm thinking, what did we? Oh, Tank Girl. When we reviewed Tank Girl, segments in Tank Girl are animated because the studio just wouldn't give them money to film the scenes, and they were like, screw it, this part is a cartoon and it'll look like the comics, otherwise we won't have the scene.
Yeah, there's so many.
There's so many.
Jones, Run Lola Run.
Yeah.
I don't know, but this is what I referenced.
they were being a stickler.
So yeah, he slips, and then the
Rotunda starts like
Best
dripping.
part ever.
Yeah, it's
I
cool.
love seeing the real paint starts.
Yeah, the
coming
paint,
out, and
the
that's
paint.
how he slips. I love that.
Oh, that's right. And then all the paint starts falling, and then it turns into like the liquid Terminator, a very colorful Terminator. It turns into a dragon,
Yeah.
which is awesome. And this thing chases him all throughout, turning everything into a cartoon. I'm sorry, illustration.
Yeah.
But it's very, very clever to get us into that animated sequence.
I agree.
He meets the Pagemaster.
I am the Pagemaster, keeper of the books.
Also voiced by Christopher Lloyd. And also the painting couldn't be more obvious that it's Christopher.
I'm like, wow. He had a self-portrait.
Do you think he kept that? If I'm Christopher Lloyd, I'm like, can I get a poster of that? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Then again, I'm known for having pictures of me all around. You can buy them at our store. So yeah, he shows him how pages can like bring things to life. And he tells him he tells him where the exit is, but he's like, you're going to have to face 3 challenges: horror, adventure, and fantasy. No other genres, apparently. No romance for Richard Tyler, unfortunately. So yeah, he sends him off, and a book comes to life, and it's adventure. Do you know who voiced him?
Don't tell me, Patrick Stewart.
Patrick
Who
Stewart.
is not from Insidious.
No. Not Patrick Wilson. That
Oh, I always think of him.
No, Patrick Stewart. You know who Patrick Stewart is? X-Men, Star Trek. Yeah, that.
He did so great as this role.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a role that they would usually give him, the like pirate.
Yeah.
They usually give him more elegant speaking stuff.
And then I watched the behind the scenes. Did you see that on YouTube?
No, I didn't.
Oh, there's a wonderful 30-minute behind the scenes video on this movie. And he was like, yeah, and then they showed me the drawing. And it was a 3D, whatever. It was 3D.
Do you think this was this his first voice acting role? Maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
You know what? I think the work he did in this prepared him when he inevitably voiced Poop in the Emoji Movie. And I'm really mad because, as a joke, an ex bought me a Poop from the Emoji Movie statue that lit up, but I donated it through a thrift store recently, and I'm like, I should have saved it for the Pagemaster episode.
No.
Although for some reason in interviews he was real excited to be playing Poop. He thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Good for you, Patrick Stewart. So yeah, he's adventurer. He's dressed like a pirate. He tells him he can show him where the exit is.
Yeah. As long as you check him out.
As long as you check him out, and he ends up opening 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea at the worst. They always open these books, and it's never the page where characters are sitting talking. It's always a page where a monster is attacking. So the squid from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea just bursts out of the book, which I like that idea. Right. I like the idea. I feel like they could have done more with that, actually.
There's a little bit.
A little bit. They could have went a little bit more.
Back in the end.
Yeah, and I love the cartoon version of the library, because now it looks endless. It looks like the labyrinth from Hellraiser if it was more friendly and inviting. It's just
each
this
section is different.
Yeah, each section is different. So they're running away from the squid. They get saved by fantasy.
But before that,
okay.
I'm sorry.
Remind me.
So they have to get away from the squid. Yeah. And the only way is up a ladder.
Oh, so he's already...
Macaulay Culkin, Richard,
yeah,
is saying, what he said to his dad, to the pirate. And he's like, well, don't you want to escape from this? So that's how he gets through that. And another thing, if you don't mind me saying.
Go ahead.
I had a short-lived little series called Fitness Princess.
Oh.
And my character, King Glucose, was modeled after the pirate here.
Oh.
So I'll give you a picture to insert.
Is that available anywhere?
I think you can watch it on YouTube.
We're going to find it. We're going to link all of Casey's old videos.
No.
Yeah.
Some of you are finding me on YouTube.
Oh, dude.
Oh, dear.
Some people found my awful Seinfeld fan film, Seinfeld the High School Years.
Why didn't you tell that guy about it on Monster Mania?
Because it's embarrassing. Johanna's in it. She's Elaine's sister in the show.
That's awesome.
I was Jerry, of course. After I got a little bit more known for Cinemassacre, suddenly I go on Reddit and they're like, look at this loser's old show. I'm like, oh, come on. I was in high school. Come on.
Mine are cringe.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
But
not yours. I'm thinking of mine too are also pretty bad.
The Fitness Princess is cute.
Okay, we're gonna watch every next episode. It's gonna be Fitness Princess. We're gonna watch every single episode.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, if you go on Patreon, a while back, I did watch season 1 of Mummy Cop and commentated over it. It was fun going back to that. I should do it for season 2. So they get saved by fantasy, played by Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes, when she was cool.
When she was cool.
Loved Ghost.
Ghost is good.
Sister Act.
Color Purple, and obviously Theodore Rex, the beloved Theodore Rex.
Yes.
Who could forget the movie that she got like sued for because she tried to back out of it? She was forced to do the movie.
But they didn't want like a Victorian sounding woman.
It is a fun contrast.
They wanted like a modern.
Yeah. Oh, it was a fun contrast. But yeah, she like right away has like negative feelings toward adventure.
I heard that. I love you, know. I'm a classic.
Mm-hmm. A classic misprint.
Yeah.
So they're like feuding a little bit.
She said something about her Little Mermaid underwear.
Yeah, it's like my Little Mermaid underwear is
And pulls it up.
her pantyhose are falling down or
That
something
comes
like
back.
Yeah.
You just wait.
But her wand only works in the fantasy aisle. But she's like, I know where the real exit sign is, but you have to check me out.
Yes.
And so it's like, all right, I guess we're all being checked out. And then they release The Hound of Bakersville, which I've never read. I assume there's a hound in it. But this hound comes out of the book, and it chases them all the way to the horror section.
And then when I was watching this, I could see how it could be a video game.
Yes. Yes, although I've looked at footage from the video games, but I never personally played them. But yeah, so they go through the horror section. I do like the little cameo from Jacob Marley from Christmas Carol.
Oh.
Scrooge's former, but
Love Jacob Marley.
yeah, and his tombstone has chains around it. Although, would you consider?
I didn't notice that one.
I guess it is like a.
Link by link, yard by
Yeah,
yard.
yeah.
But I'm thinking like Christmas Carol. I'm like, I guess there's horror elements in the beginning and the end.
I saw Legend of Sleepy Hollow in this scene. I saw that book.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, there were a few books that I saw in the background. I'm like,
Pet Cemetery was there.
oh, there's a couple Stephen.
Salem's Lot. It was Salem.
There was a couple Stephen King ones in there. But yeah, other than that, I mean, that is a horror moment in that story. I just don't know if you consider Christmas Carol a full-on horror book. But regardless, fun little cameo. They make it to a mansion. They see the exit sign, but there's a mansion in the way. And they're like, okay, we got to go through here. And it's owned by Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's a duplex.
It must be a duplex.
But I like that Dr. Jekyll would have his name on the mansion, but then Mr. Hyde is like, also my name. I got to carve my name into it too. And then they bump into Horror, voiced by Frank Weckler. Classic voiceover character, voice artist. Where did we talk about him last? Oh, he's the voice of Malbolgia in Spawn, the Spawn movie. You've heard. Never mind. The last time we talked about him was Anaconda, because he also did the sound of the snake going. Ah!
Oh.
But yeah, we meet Horror, who's acting like Quasimodo, I think.
Yes, he's the hunchback. So you're right. He's the hunchback. They said in the behind the scenes that his mom was like a soft covered book and the dad was a hard covered book. So now he's the hunchback.
What the hell? These things are like reproducing? I thought they were just magical creatures.
Yes, when watching the behind the scenes, the people behind this, like, I know that there was controversy, but they loved it so much.
Yeah.
And someone wrote something so sweet. I found it so endearing. His character, because they put so much thought behind these characters, he was misshelved in life, and he just wants to be shelved in a happy ending.
Oh,
Isn't that so sweet?
that's so nice.
Because he even says, like, in horror books, there's always sad.
He is like the most sympathetic character, I guess.
He's wonderful. And, like, I got this one first off of a secondhand website called Mercari.
Oh, I know Macaulay.
Yes. And then I saw on the same app that there was one in the box.
You had to get the box
So I
one.
just had to get the box one. They were both very reasonable.
Yeah.
And it has like a book in it too.
Oh, that's cute.
And the book goes behind it. You can put the book in the
Oh,
stuffed animal. I don't want it.
nice.
He's placed nicely. So, but I had to have horror.
Oh, the twins love books. They make me read books constantly.
Good. That's what this movie's about. Like at the end, you just want to go to the library. Next.
Ugh. No, for me, I was just like, I wonder if any of those books have movies.
I love that, Tony. I love that for you.
I guess that worked either way, but wanted me to read, but whatever.
I only went to the movie section. So
Yes.
there we go.
So, They go in and they meet Dr. Jekyll.
Yes. Do you remember this part, like when you were a kid?
Yes, I do. I remember it a lot. But I also forgot to mention there's a cameo from the Raven. Oh, yeah. Just goes, Nevermore. Yeah. But they meet Dr. Jekyll. Who voices Dr. Jekyll?
I don't know.
Look to the right of you. Look.
Someone there?
Leonard Nimoy.
Who's that?
Spock.
The Star Trek.
Oh, I don't know.
Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, I don't know.
He's Spock
I
from
don't
Star
watch
Trek.
Star Trek.
Yeah, but he did a lot of other things too. He was a director also. He directed Three Men and a Baby.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, hello there, Mr.
Dr. Jekyll.
Yes, Leonard Nimoy from Star Trek. He voices Dr. Jekyll. So we got 2 Star Trek people in here. What's his face? Patrick Stewart, Leonard Nimoy, and I think Frank Weckler. He had to have voiced an alien or something on some version of Star Trek. But I always liked Leonard Nimoy. He always had a really cool voice. I always enjoyed his voice. So yeah, he's Dr. Jekyll. He lets them in. He's like, there's evil about, and all men have good and evil. And for some reason, Har walks in front of the potion he made, and he's suddenly like a handsome-looking guy.
So funny.
But yeah, he decides they're all gonna drink. He gives them like a potion.
Yeah.
Luckily, Har knocks Adventure's potion down and it dissolves through the floor. But Jekyll drinks it and he turns into Mr. Hyde. And yeah, this was scary as a kid.
Yeah.
I remember being like, what the? Because I didn't know who Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was at that point. I was just like, what is this? I don't know what's going on.
For some reason, I always thought it came later in the film, but...
Yeah, it is weird that they started like early with him. But he looks like, you probably won't know what this is. There was like a comic series in like the 90s called Evil Ernie. And Dr. Jekyll looked kind of like Evil Ernie.
Scary.
He is scary. He's like really creepy looking. He tries to kill them. He falls through that hole in the floor.
I know.
That's creepy. He's like on the chain. He's like smiling. I'm like, I don't like that.
And guess who's trapped?
Har is trapped.
Yes, and Fantasy's like, you have to save him.
And Richard won't.
He won't.
He
He's
won't.
too scared. So
her wand works just enough to be like a welding torch.
yes.
But yeah, so they save Har. Oh, so yeah, they go through a hallway that's a book of ghost stories. And I was like, I looked in the background. I was like, oh shit, what if he like knocked over The Shining and that naked lady ghost came out? What if the
you have in there?
What if the naked lady ghost came out?
Ew.
I just remembered as I was saying, I'm like, holy shit, I have it in the cabinet. I bought this at VHS Fest a few years ago.
That's cool.
Isn't it cool? It's a custom made one. The back is the padding. Anyway.
I have leggings like that.
Right.
Which you wore at Monster Mania, which we were at recently. So yeah, all the ghosts come out of the book. They don't look like, some of them might be specific ghosts from things. None of them really stood out to me though. But they chase them out, they get out of the mansion. Again, I love all the looks of the environments in this. So we get a better look at the mansion on the cliff and it's like all made of stone books. I'm like, that is a cool detail. I'm really like it. I wanted to see, I would love to play like a modern video game like this, where you just go into different books and it all has that kind of look to it.
That'd be so fun.
That'd be so fun.
I will say that Macaulay Culkin's hair does change throughout the entire. There were some lighting issues. I don't know.
Okay.
There were some lighting issues with the animation, but
Okay.
overall,
I wasn't taking note of his hair. Richard gets the courage to swing on a vine to safety. He's climbing down. He's like scared, and he's like, "All right, I'll do it." So he's starting to man up a little bit. They make their way to the land of adventure, which is like a big sea, and they board a little boat and they take off, and the boat is CGI.
right?
They're 2D, and they come across Captain Ahab from Moby Dick, who, funny enough, Patrick Stewart played in a made-for-TV movie. Yeah. He also played Scrooge in a made-for-TV movie.
That's true.
They make it to the end of the Moby. Again, they're always conveniently at the most exciting part of every book.
It's a movie.
I know. But they're like, oh, there's Captain Ahab. What happens to him again? And sure enough, Moby Dick comes and just murders everyone in front of them. But then Moby Dick attacks them and shatters their boat. And only Richard and Adventure survive.
I know.
They're like, oh, wow, those two died. But they get swarmed by sharks, and then some pirates grab them.
Yep, and Richard's calling them over. Come save us.
He's like, save us, not realizing.
Looks like you gotta be careful out here.
A lot of people on the sea, they're not the most friendliest people out here. Especially when you're in a adventure book thing. They're either probably the hero of the story or they're a bad guy. A weird note. When he's sad about fantasy and horror, he's like, they're the only friends
I ever had.
It's like, really?
You've known them for 15 minutes.
Yeah, you've known him for 15 minutes. Like, really? You never had one friend? You never had, like, a friend for, like, a day or, like, a week?
You know who he'd be really good friends with?
Who?
Matilda.
The girl who can move things with her mind? I guess.
Because she likes books.
I
She goes to the library.
haven't watched Matilda.
Are you serious?
Since maybe it came out on video.
There is a scene in Matilda, and she's like, oh my gosh, what does she say? Hold, please.
Okay.
Hold, please. It's Danny DeVito saying it with the narration. When she felt like she needed a friend, she would go to the characters in her storybooks. Yeah.
What a nerd.
I related to
What a nerd.
But yeah, they'd be good friends.
Matilda. The last time I saw anything Matilda is they did a musical version recently and people redubbed it with Rob Zombie's
Oh, yeah.
Dracula.
Yes.
Did you see that? That was awesome. I'm like, this works so much better than it should.
I saw the Broadway musical of Matilda.
Mara Wilson. That was Matilda, right? Yes. What else is she in? Oh, yeah, we did Mrs. Doubtfire last year.
Oh,
We
yeah.
did Mrs. Doubtfire. She was in that. So they board the ship, and it turns out they are in the Treasure Island story. And they meet Long John Silver, played by John Cummings, I think, or Jim Cummings. John Cummings. He's got a great voice. I always liked his
Maybe
voice.
it's Jim Cummings.
I think it is Jim Cummings. Yeah, great pirate voice. But yeah, they're at the part where they go to Treasure Island, and again, the look of everything. There is a mountain that is a skull, and when you look closer, it's made of books. The rocks are books. Like, oh, god damn it, that's so cool.
So good. See, you love it.
I love the look of it and everything. They get there and they find that the treasure has already been stolen. Now, I don't remember much of Treasure Island. I don't think I've read
I have
the book.
no idea.
The only thing I do know about Treasure Island is years back they did a show called Black Sails. Michael Bay produced it. It was a pirate show on Stars. And it was supposed to be a gritty, edgy prequel to Treasure Island. And that sounds stupid. That show was great. Everyone called it the best show no one's watching and only did 3 seasons. It finished. It didn't end on a cliffhanger. Go back and watch that show. If you want, like, I mean, it is fantasy, obviously. It's a prequel to Treasure Island. But it is, like, real gritty and down to earth. And they, like, it's realistic in, like, a fun way. Like, the one pirate is like, how do I use this gun? What do I do? He's like, don't worry. And the guy's like, half the time they don't even work. It's straight up in the barrel, like none of the guns are working. So it's a really good pirate show. The late Ray Stevens, brilliant actor, played Blackbeard, and it was so cool. They get there, the treasure is gone. All the pirates are about to like mutiny and fight, and then we hear the voice of someone singing that pirate song, and it's her.
Yes, the best reveal of all time.
What does he say? Oh God, dead man. He's instead of saying chest, he says like tummy or something. He's like, dead man's tummy. And he's like, oh, it's chest, you idiot.
That's cute. Yeah, him and Fantasy are alive.
They're alive, and they save Richard. Adventure doesn't because he falls into the treasure chest and he can't get out. But yeah, so somehow they survived. I don't know how.
Survived because he's hollow.
Right, he can float. That's right.
Float.
Why did they make him so dumb? I just don't know. They make him seem like really dumb. Like, is there something wrong with him? So yeah, again, we have another scene where Richard mans up a little bit more because Long John Silver is like, you know, gonna kill him or something. But he picks up the sword and he wasn't expecting. He's like, okay, I'm leaving. You. I do like that's his exit from the movie. He's like, you got me. All right, see you later. Yeah. And he's like singing with his bird and shit. And this part of the movie is weird. So like horror is sad that he can't be like Adventure. And Adventure like bullies him and tells him to get out of here, and that's something. But then Richard is sad that he lost the library card. He's like, I won't be able to check you out. I lost the card. And you're like, oh wow, so now this is part of the adventure. They're gonna have to look for the card. That stops 5 seconds later. Adventure just finds the card and it's like, oh. We couldn't Could have dragged that out just a little bit longer or not have had it at all. It was weird. But fantasy encourages him to keep going. And horror is being tied up like Gulliver's travels. And then adventure saves him. So then there's, again, another thing that's set up like horror and adventure. They're fighting. Adventure doesn't like him. He hates him. And then 5 seconds later, that's resolved. I'm like, what is happening?
It's a kid's movie.
Yeah, but like everything, I'm on board with everything. I'm like, why are you introducing these like new plot lines and then stopping them 5 seconds later? That feels weird.
So is this fantasy yet, or is it still adventure?
I think it's still, I mean, there's overlap with a lot of these. I think Gulliver's Travel is an adventure with fantasy.
Because I couldn't remember the fantasy portion. The other ones I could.
Well, I'll explain why the fantasy portion is maybe not as memorable as the other ones. But yeah, I guess because they're close to fantasy, her wand starts working. It starts activating a little bit. So they head to Fantasyland, and she turns adventure into a lady. And he is not happy about that. And then I have here, there's a song, I guess. It just cuts to like a musical
Such a great song.
It's a good song. It just comes out of nowhere randomly. And
so
then,
inspiring.
He can't see without his glasses. Put his glasses on.
There's a bunch of cameos. They have Mother Goose and a bunch of other ones. Then there's some fairies.
Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah, Humpty Dumpty dies. The fairies kill Humpty Dumpty. No one bothered. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put him together again. But in this version, no one even makes an attempt. They just leave him. So yeah, the fairies lead them down the yellow brick road. Did you pick up on that?
I did. I loved that effect.
That is actually this time around, now that I know a bunch of those stories, I'm like, oh shit, there's that. You think they were planning on a sequel? Because I'm like, where's Sci-Fi Land? It would have been cool to see more of those.
You don't think so?
There was wiggle room for more.
But I don't think so.
So yeah, there's a cave, and at the top of the cave is a mountain with the exit sign. They're like, wow, we made it. But Adventure finds his sword in the cave and gets a little carried away. And it turns out this cave is actually a dragon.
Oh, yeah.
A generic dragon. So they purposely picked stories from before 1923 so they would all be public domain. But this dragon isn't from anything specific, which there are a million stories with dragons. It's just, this is one of the issues with the film where like, we've gotten so used to be like, oh, it's the thing from this story. It's the thing from this story. And then it's like, oh, and it's just a dragon. I'm like, feel like we lost our way a little bit here.
It's very much like the one from Sleeping Beauty.
I guess, but then say that. It's like they like threw off the formula toward the very end. In my mind, it's Smaug, the one from The Hobbit.
Okay.
Yeah. He's the meanest. No, Smaug talks. Never mind. It can't be him. So yeah, it's just a generic dragon chasing them. Fantasy pulls out the page from Arabian Nights and brings the magic carpet to life. And I bet you Fox was happy. They're like, screw you, Disney. I know it's in Aladdin, but that's a public domain story. We can have our own magic carpet. So yeah, they fly away, but the dragon fries the carpet. That dragon is like nuking everything. It's like destroying everything. It's terrifying. Richard shrugs off a copy of Atlas Shrugged, which is a very famous book. I forget who wrote that one.
I have no idea.
I forget who wrote that, but it's funny because he looks like Atlas and he's shrugging off the book. I'm like, all right, that's more of a play on words there. And he has a chance to leave his friends behind and get out of there.
Did he find the armor yet?
Not yet. The armor has been established, but he hasn't found it yet. The viewer has found it. But yeah, he can leave, just leave them behind. He decides not to. Oh, and here, Adventure's going to face the dragon by himself, and then him and Fantasy kiss.
Yes. What happened here?
Again, a rushed love story.
They kiss, and then he says something, she slaps him, and then you see her pull up her underwear again.
Oh, yeah, that was awkward.
Right? I'm like, what the heck happened there?
Yeah, what's his one-liner he says?
How would you like to curl up with a good book?
I'm going to go to the library. I'm going to use this one-liner. It's probably going to be on a 70-year-old woman, but I think it might work. So yeah, Richard decides to man up again. He puts that armor on and he faces the dragon. His attack is weak. He's just like, I got it. He's like hitting its legs. It's like, dude, give up. Run away. Because Adventure got fried. Somehow Adventure doesn't die, but he got fried. And then the dragon eats him. But wouldn't you know it? There's so many books in his belly.
Yeah, I loved the animation of the dragon's inside.
Yeah, that was cool. Also, we forgot to mention the Pagemaster has been sending him audio messages throughout the whole
really?
thing. Yeah, he's like, oh, do this.
Oh, yes. Also, I believe the dragon swallowed the fairy's Fantasy's wand.
Yes, it did. It did. It swallowed it when they fell off the carpet. Because he finds the wand and he can't like really use it yet. But yeah, then he remembers the Pagemaster said, look to the book. Look to the books. And he opens up Alice in Wonderland and the Queen of Hearts ready to cut off his head. He's like, all right, not that one. And he finds Jack and the Beanstalk.
Genius.
And he opens up the beanstalk and it shoots out of the dragon's mouth. And as a kid, I always felt bad for the dragon.
What?
I'm like, because that is a giant beanstalk exploding his inside. Like, he's going to...
He'll be fine.
I don't know. I was just like, oh God, he's going to be exploding from the inside out. That's so scary to think about. But yeah, they escape and they make it to the exit and they find the Pagemaster.
Yeah.
And the books know who he is because this is like their god, I guess. They're like, oh, kneel down in front of the Pagemaster. So yeah, he says hi. Richard yells at him the whole time. He's like, I almost did this and then this happened. And then he's like, yeah, but look, you conquered your fears and stuff.
And don't all of like the characters say something?
All the characters come back and give him a shout out.
Yeah.
I mean, except for the dragon because he can't talk.
I was hoping he would.
Yeah, if it was Smaug, he would have. Dragon should have been like, good job, kid.
Yeah.
It is weird that they all talk and then the dragon's just like, blah. I was like, oh, thank you. But he's like, yes, the power of books made you get over your fear of everything. But Richard should be like, I have way more fears now. I wasn't afraid of mad scientists. I wasn't afraid of dragons. And now I'll think about dragons until the day I die.
But he could take on every single one of them. So he doesn't have to be afraid.
That's true. That's true. So yeah, he returns his soul to his body, I guess. Now there's 3 books next to him. So it's the live action version of the books.
Oh, if I could have those props. Like if I could.
Oh, those would be cool to find. Those would be cool.
Those.
I've seen people. I wonder if people have made replicas of this.
Sure they have.
The replica I see a lot book-wise is, well, one, Evil Dead. That one's pretty easy because they released DVDs of it.
Yeah.
But people make that. The book from Hocus Pocus. I've seen people make their version of that.
Our adventure book from Up.
That one I haven't seen. At least not at conventions. And I've definitely seen the books from The Mummy. People have made from the Brendan Fraser ones with like the puzzle box and stuff. So I've seen those.
I would want these.
These would be fun to just have on a bookshelf and be like, I wonder if they know. He has the books. He wants to leave, but he can only bring 2. And he's like, but I promised. And he's like, hey, it'll just this once. You can have 3 books.
Yeah, and he was right about all 3, Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
He called them all out.
Yeah. He was like, you're going to do this, 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 and this. I mean, could have sent him into someone's like biography or history or something. Be boring. Philosophy and stuff, just anything. Like, nope, just these 3. It's like, oh, okay. I guess he was in the fiction section, so.
Oh yeah, that in the beginning, the adventure book. Are you fiction or nonfiction?
He sends him off, and Christopher Lloyd just like a creepy smile. He's like,
yeah.
He just looks like a bad guy in this. In this, he looks like a bad guy. I don't know why. So he bikes to the construction site. And look, there's being brave, and then there's being stupid. It's
Come on, Tony.
Yeah, but it's like, Richard, you're not wearing any you should wear protective gear just to be safe. You don't have to be scared and not do it, but I wouldn't have done that. But he turns out to be fine. He jumps over the ramp. And that night, his parents have been freaking out, going everywhere looking for him.
Yeah, didn't think to check the library.
Yeah. Again, is this even a real library now that we know he is a magic man?
Yeah, maybe it was fake.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things. Well, I guess it isn't all in his head because the books fell down next to him, so it had to have been real.
And the ending, but we're getting there.
Yes. But yeah, they find him in the treehouse with his books, and they're like, let's just leave him here. And I'm just like, didn't it just rain today? What if it rains some more? You should probably bring him in.
The dad can't believe that he sees the son, Richard, in the treehouse with the lantern next to him, and the mom's like, we should take him in. And he's like, no, let's let him stay up here. I would have liked to see the dad, we should take him inside. Yeah. Like, both of them have a change of heart here.
Yeah.
Because that's so unsafe to leave him up in the treehouse.
I know what they're trying to do. But literally early in the day, lightning was just exploding trees. I'm like, I know that he's not afraid anymore.
I'm not afraid anymore.
That's right.
But it's like, yeah, but you just saw trees get struck by lightning. Maybe don't go in the tree today. Go in the tree when it's bright and sunny.
Size of the
But yeah, as he's sleeping, we find out that the books are alive. And we just see their shadows, because it probably would have been too hard to animate them in live action.
But I love the shadows. That was even better.
Yeah.
And like, Horror's scared because they turn off the lantern. Horror's like, it's scary.
Yeah.
So Fantasy puts the lantern back on, and that's when you see their silhouettes. It was so
Which I liked. That was cool. And then, what's his face asks for a kiss, and it ends on a gay. It ends on a gay joke.
A kiss. Okay.
Family movies used to have gay jokes in them.
It's cute.
It's cute. I'm just like, oh, they want to do that today, or maybe they would. I don't know. Things are changing. Deadpool and Wolverine brought back gay jokes. But yeah, the movie ends, and I have it here. Movie's okay.
Yes. But wait, and then
and
in the credits is another song
Yes, I don't know what that's
by Babyface.
Yeah, rewatching it, I still enjoy it. I think they could have spent a little bit more time in some of the worlds, especially since it's only...
It's quick.
Yeah, it feels very rushed. Again, some of those plot lines, like the rivalry between horror and adventure, the romance sort of came out of nowhere, and the missing library card, they all happen like just real quick. And I'm like, why is this in here if it's going to be resolved that quickly? So the middle section there is a little bizarre. And if they're referencing so many big literature stories, the ending should have been something else than generic dragon.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't know. He was mad with the editing. I'm like, I think it was edited fine. Like, the movie still is fun.
I think it's really good.
I haven't said this in a while. It's fine and fun.
Oh, it's fine.
I still really enjoyed it. Again, it could have been a little bit better, but it's not like... I was reading some of the reviews. I know Roger Ebert was like, oh, it's all drab and whatnot. I'm like, I don't think so.
The reviews I saw was like, this was before Harry Potter. This was Harry Potter before Harry Potter was...
But yeah, some of the negative ones, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's not like the best thing ever. I'm sure there were better things at the time, especially animation-wise, but...
I thought it was very magical. And I was surprised to see David Kirshner's...
Yeah.
Kirshner,
Kirshner, I think, yeah.
His name, like, as soon as it came up, I'm like, wait, I know that name. That's so familiar.
What else has he done? The
Chucky movies.
The Chucky movies, right.
And then on his IMDb, it just goes back and forth from, like, family film, Chucky, family film, Chucky. But they were so passionate about it in the behind the scenes.
I think he might have been the head of this Turner animation thing that they were trying, if I'm remembering right. I forgot to put it in my notes, but I was looking it up, so... Maybe that's why they go back and forth.
And at the end of the behind the scenes, they're like, listen to our original songs from this movie. And then they play both music videos. Like, I can't because they make me cry.
I feel like every kids movie had to have a song in it. If it wasn't a musical, it had to have at least one song in it.
Yeah.
And that was like...
This reminded me of, like, Geppetto. Do you remember Geppetto?
Geppetto? Like,
yeah, the movie Geppetto.
There was a movie called
Yeah, with Drew Carey.
Oh my god.
I loved Geppetto. And there's a...
Oh my god, you're like awakening a memory I have not thought of.
I have that on VHS too.
Okay.
There's such a great song on that, and it's very similar.
Oh. Is there soundtrack available anywhere?
I don't know.
Well, no, because me and Tim did Arachnophobia, and Jimmy Buffett has like a really good song in it, and it's apparently like not available anywhere. And I'm like, how does that happen? But yeah, I still think it's a fun little family film.
Would you show it to the twins?
If it was streaming, yeah, I would definitely show it to them.
It is.
Yeah, I mean,
It is streaming.
I'm not gonna rent it.
It was $4 to buy.
I'm not going that far. But if they're here and I have a better version, I'm not going to show them VHS, obviously. Cause
I'll lend you my DVD.
I should go on YouTube and look up some of the animated sequences, just because like my VHS was like very degraded and it's the way it's washed out. The colors were washed out. But yeah, I think it's solid.
It's a solid,
okay film. It's not going to change your life. Maybe it did you, but it's not going to change most people's lives.
It has a great message.
Yeah, it has a good message and everything. It could have been a little bit better. I'd love to see a second shot at this idea.
That'd be cool.
I'm not saying necessarily a Pagemaster remake, but like the same idea of like being in a library and going through different books. I mean, it probably already exists. I don't know what I'm talking about. But should we make the Tape Master?
Yes.
Come in here. I'm the Tape Master, kid. I'm going to send you to the world of Bedazzled.
That's a new podcast.
Yes, what do you want? Comedy? Action?
So good. That's how you should start every episode. Because we're in the tapes.
I'm the Tape Master.
You are the Tape Master. Oh my gosh. I'm in the presence of royal.
Oh, Casey, I'm gonna whisk you away to the magical world of hold on. We Were Soldiers, starring Mel Gibson. It's gonna be horrifying. Enjoy.
I love it.
And then after that, you'll go to Sci-Fi World and end up in Signs, and it will look familiar because we live around all the locations.
You should run this by Macaulay Culkin. I think you should make merch for the Tape Master.
Let Macaulay Culkin, if you're watching this, I don't have your contact information. You might remember me. We talked about Big Trouble in Little China. Let's do the Tape Master.
I love this idea.
I have to play the Tape Master.
Oh my gosh, I'm about to write it.
No one's come into the video store in years.
This is such a great idea. Don't take it. Trademark.
I should probably Google and see if it already exists.
This is a great idea. Highly.
But like the movies like all suck. Like, here you are in Critters 3. It's like, is that Leonardo DiCaprio? Yes.
This is so good.
You're gonna learn a lesson in I'm just picking out tapes now. In The Relic. It's a museum in that movie. There's a monster. But yes, let us know what you think of the Pagemaster. Do you like this? I think it's underrated. I
agree.
Yes. But yeah, let us know what you think. Casey, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Casey the Final Girl.
I'm starting to lose my voice, but not from illness because I've been filming nonstop since like Monday. Just been constant. No, since Sunday actually, because we all record it right after the con.
Sorry about that episode.
It's not out yet, but I'm sure everyone loved it.
Oh dear.
I did a good job editing. It's fine.
It only was really rough at the very end, and like you're about to give up. I'm like, Casey, it's your last sentence. Just power through it.
So bad.
You better do it, or the Tape Master will send you to Gothica, starring Halle Berry. I don't remember a goddamn thing that happened in that movie, but I'm sure it was spooky. That's it. Please like, share, subscribe, sign up for Patreon. We have some fun stuff going over on Patreon. Book me on Cameo. I did a birthday thing for someone recently. That was a lot of fun. And check out our merch store. And I got other things coming at some point. Keep an eye on all that. All right, goodbye. Oh my God, I'm taking this off. My neck!
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.
Talking about tapes.